Hola, familia estelar, you did not land here by chance, you have indeed entered into a sacred worldline collision. This decision, this choice, not only creates a branching universe, but it aligns you with a very specific coordinate within space and time, a destined outcome. This choice is something that shifts the continuum, almost like a train track of life that you'll experience. I'm hearing it is a launch pad into a complete different trajectory. So we're going to take a look at this. In the astral realm, I was basically seeing a stone tablet and it had different kind of hieroglyph depictions on it, but the stone tablet was split into two. And what I got from that was stones in the metaphysical realm is about the permanence of something, and it's about a choice that sets a very long timeline of experiences for you. I feel like it's something that you're being offered. We're going to take a look at what this may be just to help you navigate this shift, but it's almost like the part itself, right? Where there's two tracks. I'm hearing it's a new role that you'll be playing, a different kind of identity that you're anchoring into the now. It's maybe a duty that you feel like you're being called to be of service towards on a soul level, and also a desire that you have. But the crack wasn't a damage. It was simply highlighting the opportunity to embody a complete new way of navigating this experience. And there is almost like a new vow, they're showing me almost not the sacred scribe, but there's a sacred covenant type of energy where it feels like something is being elevated. It feels like you've mastered something thus far and you're taking it to a new level. So we'll see what this is, but it kind of reminds you of the sun disk energy. That's some of the hieroglyphic depictions I was seeing on this stone tablet. And the sun is about, plasma, life force, information that you're receiving, source consciousness. And I saw loads of rays with ankhs on them, which is about life force streaming directly into matter. So it feels like something that you're streamlining, some type of information that you're being called to act upon in the physical. And the hands that are like receiving these ankhs essentially represent the receptivity or the participation on the human's part, if that makes sense, right? Where it's like you're acting upon this divine light, these divine downloads, this divine inspiration, this divine information, and there is no separation or incongruency behind the things that you know you should do and the things that you're actually doing. Okay, there is a complete congruency in the way that you're moving through this existence, where the soul is leading the flesh, because that's what the ankh is, right? It's the divine feminine and divine masculine. So there is this receptivity and this connection and integration that's happening where you're moving forward healed with that desire, not towards a desire in resonance with the absence. It's like you already know that this is something that has already come to play out, already is existing simultaneously. You're experiencing the becoming or unfoldment in a linear fashion. Therefore, it's like a memory unfolding before you. So this is a huge gut feeling. That's a memory from your future self. So yeah, it's something that's being rejoined. So let's see. Where should we go from here? Let's see. Let's take a look at. Sure. Let's pull one of these messages. Right. The Hanged Man and the Devil. There's something you're overcoming in the physical realm, and it's where your belief systems have been holding you back and distorting the way that you see yourself. The Hanged Man is about surrender and release and becoming enlightened. So it's seeing yourself as a light being once again that, has incarnated into a vessel that may have adopted certain matrix belief systems. It kind of reminds me as you navigate this system, this material plane is designed in a way to strip the god out of you, right? Or the goddess out of you, or the infinite potential, or the illusion of that. It's not that ever goes. You've always been a highly abundant being. You're returning back to that knowing. So with the Devil and the Hanged Man, it's where it kind of reminds me of an ego death kind of energy. So it's almost like you're dying to be reborn again, because after the 12 is the 13, which is about, literal death or metaphorical death. So this could be a huge ending in your life, but it feels like the ending of an old time. Time is consciousness traveling into a new event. And the new event has begun within you. there is somewhere that you've arrived internally. I'm hearing it's to a new depth of understanding. It's to a new realization. It feels like there's something that you've arrived to within yourself, first and foremost, and it could be within your mental plane, okay, your plane of consciousness, which is super interesting. So we'll see what this is. Where have you arrived? Let's take a look at Gateway of the Light activation. Where have you arrived? And I'm hearing where you've arrived is leading to events arriving to you, around you, like a new reality arriving to you. Soul Star activation. Okay, so where you've arrived is actually completely in alignment with what your intentions were before this incarnation. That's what Soul Star talks about. It's your connection that extends and branches far beyond this matrix, right? Before you had incarnated into this system. Now there's a remembrance that's happened. Fulfilling soul contracts and remembering who you are. And it's funny because we were talking about the Ankh, right? Which is Osiris and Isis energy, where Osiris was dismembered as he entered into the physical realm, right? As he entered into Set. Set is depicted as the devil card oftentimes. So as Osiris had descended into the world of Set, into the land of the physical, into the lower mind, right? The merging between the higher mind and the lower mind. The lower mind can distort or, in appearance, disconnect you from the higher, because you can become so immersed in this matrix, into this system, into this physical plane, right? Into your five senses, what it is that you see, you taste, you touch, you smell. All of your senses can be so overstimulated to the point where you are not able to see yourself clearly. And the sixth sense, which is your awareness, right? So there's something around, you've kind of, again, there's an ego death. There keeps being a message around it, the ego death, because if you've had that experience, you understand what it is that you're left with is just pure awareness in that state. Now, this is about pure awareness waking up in this construct, right? Consciousness slowly waking up. And once consciousness becomes aware of itself, it begins to behave very differently, because who is this? This is Isis and Osiris's son, Horus, right? Christ consciousness. So there is definitely a strong energy around you becoming now a conduit where the spirit is leading the flesh in some way. So we're going to go ahead and read this card. It's very, very powerful. Soul Star. Sorry guys, the camera overheated, but we're going to go ahead and continue. So Soul Star activation. Through our Soul Star, we access information and wisdom like a computer, connecting to the internet through broadband. Instead of having to move through the dimensions to access the information, we can remain connected at all times and download support as necessary. The Egyptian god Horus appears on this card as a spiritual guide. His hawk head image is said to illustrate his connection to the sun, the moon, and the stars. So the sun is the masculine, right? The moon is the feminine aspect of self. And these are solar alignments that happen within you, solar and lunar alignments that occur within us. So again, this is like an alignment that's taking place. As a keeper of energetic portals to hidden realms, he can help us remember our starry origins. So when you incarnated into this very dense plane, you had fell into a human amnesia and forgotten your starry origins. But that is, you're coming back online, essentially, or some of you have, you've definitely been here. Some fractals of awareness here are very are very much in tune with that. And some of you are remembering once again, right? Because it's about remembering who you are. That awakening is about not changing who you are. It's about discarding all whom you are not, so you can return to all it is whom you've always been, which is a silent observer, the one that's untouched by time, unaffected by the events that occur in this physical matrix. So directly with the wisdom that's held in the stars. Through your previous journeys, you have learned much about your inner workings of your soul and the cycles of karma. It reminds me of this poem I wrote years back, and it says that you're following the river of stars and seas towards your destiny. It's all that you already are. It's not something that you'd rather be. So there is an alignment, right? As you're following this river of stars within you, and there's this eternal light that's forever been guiding your path, but it's always been there. Have you been silent enough to hear it? Because what you need to hear will get loud when you get quiet. That voice is never going to become louder. It's that you quiet the chattering minds that you begin to really hear it. Not just hear it, but listen to it. So before this incarnation, you set a powerful intention to remember your divine origins. At this point, you're in a powerful space where you're remembering who you truly are, and you know that you have it within you to make a great difference in your life and the lives of those that you love, and of course the world. This remembering is in alignment with the soul contracts you made before coming into this realm. If you find yourself worrying if you're making the right decisions, know that even if you aren't conscious of it, all that you've chosen thus far is in accordance with your soul's evolutionary plan. And when you draw this gateway, you're opening up on higher levels. Yeah. It's like you can look back now at a linear fashion with the Hanged Man, and you're aware of what was blocking you from seeing yourself clearly, whether that be ancestral wounds or belief systems that you have adopted from this system. It's like there's an ego death, right? Where the shell of who you once were is dissolving, and you were remembering yourself as a sovereign creator in this existence. That's what it is. And you're seeing the power that your choice has, the application of your free will has, because we always have a choice. We choose to keep ourselves in self-creating cycles of suffering, right? Self-created cycles of suffering where power always seems to be elsewhere and out of our hands. But this is someone who I'm reading today, a fragment of awareness that has become so conscious of itself and takes accountability for its conscious or unconscious creations. So again, there's a permanence in a choice that's setting a new timeline within yourself. And it's because you're aligning with a new time within you, the eternal essence that has, there's a hieroglyph saying, and it basically talks about it's like a upside triangle, and it talks about security and stability and eternal life and everlasting life for all of eternity. And it talks about you being the timeless consciousness that's navigating this experiencing itself through this physical form temporarily. And when you come back into the fact that it's a temporal experience as an infinite being, there is no fear of endings. There is no fear of death in any form or disconnection, because you recognize it as a new connecting point. So endings are new beginnings in disguise. That is your message right now. And then let's also take a look at this. So what's transpiring? What's the permanence of a decision? Because it's like ontological inertia. You can't go back and change the train track, but you can change it from the present moment. You can choose to align with a different continuum based off the decisions that you make now. Oh my god, let me pick that up. That card went flying. Hello. Okay. Merkaba activation, transcendence, you are rising up. Okay, this is beautiful because, again, this is the light that's folding back into itself. And the way that I see this message is, the Merkaba is essentially, it's the light body. And as soon as we begin to turn our light back inwards and our consciousness back inwards, we begin to spin in this centripetal state of being, right? Instead of a centrifugal state of being where we are overwhelmed by the external or bracing for the external and depleting our life force and our infinite potential. We don't have enough energy to upcycle it because we're not remembering ourselves and turning back into ourselves as a creator. So with the Merkaba and activation, it's like you're turning your focus back inwards, and this leads to higher dimensional travel, right? And navigation. So you're in this realm, but you become more buoyant because you're streamlining these higher levels of awareness, right? You can see the Merkaba even on top of his head, the soul star, into this vessel. And this is information that you're receiving, and that leads to you moving through this existence according to that knowing, right? The awareness that streamlines beyond this matrix. So you're navigating the system, but you become less dense in the medium you're immersed in. That's the moment that you wake up. It's the moment where, on a cellular level, there is like this turnaround that's happened. It's where you're navigating this matrix, but with higher levels of interdimensional awareness. So you're playing this game, but differently, not to the instruction manuals of belief systems, of fears. You're overcoming that in some way. Merkaba activation, right? We opened it right there. So it talks about these are ancient Egyptian Hebrew words relating to the ascension process of the soul. So again, you're ascending into a higher realm of existence. So the Hebrew Merkaba is the Merkaba, means chariot or the vehicle. You guys might want to watch the reading that I did around your recovering gifts from parallel lives or past lives, and you're expressing that in this lifetime. This is definitely for the same group of individuals here, okay? So commonly associated with the prophet Ezekiel's visions of angels traveling on or in spheres of light, right? And the spheres of light we also had here at the base. Where is the deck? Seraphim's gateway at the base. So this is about divine support and plasma life forms that are part of a counterpart Earth and are, communicating with you in that dimensional experience. It's not focusing, but Seraphim's gateway. Ma means light, Ka means spirit, and the Ba means the body. When these three words are put together, the idea is that the light engulfs the spirit and the body, and there is an opportunity to rise up. The symbol of the Merkaba is the star tetrahedron, and the 8-pointed star is simply the 3-dimensional extension of the hexagram, a symbol that's associated strongly with the Hebrew and the Egyptian mystery schools, right? It's like the Star of David. So in modern technology, the Merkaba is acknowledged as the light body or vehicle that we can activate for the ascension process. It's been said that it's surrounded by an 8-pointed starseed, tetrahedron, and when we're aligned on a spiritual level, the star spins at great speed, right? Which is literally what leads to higher dimensional travel. It's knowing that this is what goes on beyond this body, right? This is what continues to exist beyond this lifetime and through lifetimes. This is the timeless consciousness that experiences itself through countless life forms. So, and you've experienced yourself through many different carbon-based life forms. So this is what it is, like, and it's like once that becomes awakened, if that makes sense. So creating the sphere of unbreakable light around us, the sphere of light can help us move through the dimensions. While we are having a human experience, it creates a portal into the divine matrix so that we can connect with guidance and walk the path of light. And the path of light is the path of knowing, it's the path of truth, it's the path of consciousness. So it's being aware of yourself and the nature of, okay, the fact that you've created this construct for you to come and play and create it. And this is what goes on to experience itself, right? So even at death, at the state of implosion, when you depart from the physical vessel, when you remember yourself before departing from this experience, right, you're able to go on and continue, right? Death is a glimpse into new dimensions. You enter into new dimensions where new stories can play out. You incarnate into another physical form. Maybe there's a disconnection that you have to the 8-pointed star seed, and you're moving through this realm completely unconscious until you turn your focus back inwards, right? Until consciousness slowly starts waking up, and then the Merkaba body, right, starts spinning back in on itself, and then you can streamline these higher levels of awareness that you've always been interconnected to, but there's like a re-emergence or reintegration process that happens where that non-physical timeless consciousness begins to lead yourself in the physical. So this is the integration of the higher self. What do I say? Almost like the higher self anchored throughout the whole organism, right? Your whole carbon-based life form. It's about your plasma origins. Yeah, so that's what we go on to experience. Anyway, you are raising your vibration and becoming magnetic to the presence of wisdom and light. You're in a space of ascension. The ascension process isn't about leaving this incarnation or dimension, but seeing through the illusions of separation very clearly, knowing that everything is you and you are everything. The ascension process is about finding harmony within this system. All of the attention, love, and care that you've been giving your body are supporting your spiritual journey. A powerful gateway of light is surrounding you now, allowing you to connect with the divine matrix of ancient wisdom. It's important for you to be aware of this information, energy, and downloads that you're receiving. For all that's coming through is supporting your expansion. You're moving up a level, and it's time to fly high. Wow. That was very beautiful. Let's take a look at some starseed messages. It's that kind of reading. Star Mother, how can you mother yourself, right? How can you, divine feminine Isis, how can you integrate that aspect of self? This is about the non-physical aspect of yourself. How can you honor the intuition? How can you honor your heart's callings and yearnings during this time? How can you support yourself as you move through this existence with this awareness? Can you hold space for yourself? Can you extend compassion towards yourself? Can you accept yourself fully? That's about the mothering, a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. Again, this is a new earth that's entered within yourself. You've entered a new world within yourself, and it's leading you to see the world very, very differently. Let's take a look at Cosmos Oracle message and see. I'm hearing what your support card is during this time. So how are you being supported during this time? Geocentric model. Your obstacles are showing you the way, okay? Geocentric model talks about the wound itself. The telescope is to begin to observe your own wounds from the lens of the soul. Geocentric model is about the wounds that you have adopted, okay? Maybe from this matrix, maybe ancestrally, right? From this generational lineage that you were called forth by. But this is about you falling asleep, okay? You had fallen asleep in some way. There was like a disconnection here, and you fell into this human amnesia because the dense plane had led to you forgetting your story origins, the fact that you extend far beyond this system. And this is about belief systems that distort the way that you see yourself, right? This is certain wounds with geocentric model, it's certain fears that have distorted the way that you see yourself. And as you've cleared up this dense debris, it's led to you ascending into a higher octave. So as you've done some kind of internal shadow work and the integration of the shadow and the healing of that, right, becoming whole with that, you're beginning to observe certain things that still exist within the body and this realm, but you're seeing it from the lens of the soul. And that's leading to this intercommunication that's happening, that's shifting the way that you relate to your vessel, relating to your generational lineage, and relating to your wounds. And you realize that they are messengers for what still needs to be deeply worked through, okay? There's something that you're working through in this vessel. That's what it feels like. Let me go ahead and read geocentric models so you can see what I mean. But it's about the wounded ego. And again, with the ego death, it's like you're not recognizing yourself as your fears. You're realizing you're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. So there's a different kind of mastery or relationship that's happening through that detachment and observation. So the wounded model, geocentric model, the wounded ego. Does everything rotate around the earth? The theory stated that we were the center of the universe. The universe is immense and we're definitely not at its center. So there's a level of humility here. This card is related with ego, insecurities, and projection onto others. When we take something personally, it does not say anything about the other person. It says a lot about ourselves. Did that hurt? It should not. This is about being so anchored and rooted and grounded in yourself and your mission and your divine purpose that nobody's absence or presence or opinion will disrupt that very essence and will not bring you out of harmonic order, because you see yourself clearly. And you also recognize the other as yourself, giving you the opportunity to stay grounded and centered in that awareness. So, and your anchor, your intention is going to be your anchor. This is what this is. It's about your intention being your anchor and a higher intention. Recognizing that for some, our ego is damaged by a point or topic or powerful virtue. Nobody does anything to you personally, right? It's all vibrational alignments. Everyone is immersed in a battle of their own demons. Taking something personally is effectively accepting some fear or insecurity that prevents an open wound being seen clearly or with a broad mind. So it's about alchemy. It's saying, okay, this is one way to see it. Maybe this triggered me. Maybe this hurt me. The other opportunity is, okay, what am I teaching myself through the form of another? Why is this happening through me, right? Why is this being projected into my experience, this self-organized system? What is my vibrational state of resonance or my subconscious wounds that's leading to this point of attraction? What am I showing myself right now? What is the opportunity to learn in what appears to be a challenge? What is the equivalent seed of opportunity? Okay, so let your guard down. It calls for a change in perspective. Explore your inner self. Investigate the fear or pain lying deep within. So again, this is an opportunity. It's like, because what happens, dear, is that as you clear up these belief systems or things that have been right, almost like these wounds, they begin to suppress your DNA, right? Contract your DNA, which stores the memory of yourself in this system. And as you begin to heal and integrate and acknowledge those wounds, which require you to feel them, that are stuck in your energy body, right? Which is an emotion that is wanting to be released, because emotion is energy in motion that gets stuck. from reinforced thought forms. You're being called to change the way that you feel about yourself, change the way that you think about yourself in the system or even those around you. And that changes your relationship with matter, with everything that, is downloaded into a third dimensional experience. So there is almost like this integration process, and that leads to the expansion, right? Ascended frameworks of viewing this existence, ascended frameworks of relating with your own wounds, and that leads to the reconnection of your memory. It leads to the expansion of your memory, of your DNA, a multidimensional DNA. So investigate the fear or pain lying deep within. Get curious in regards to why is there certain triggers arising within the body. It shows itself because there is more hiding behind it, right? Your power lies. That's why they say pain is a portal, right? Because your power lies on the other side of that pain. Work on fears and self-love. So can you love yourself and love this vessel through and through to the point where you can sit with yourself? Sometimes we don't want to sit with ourselves, right, in the present moment, because there's an uncomfortable circumstance that we're experiencing. You really need to sit with exactly what that is, because it's literally blocking you from accessing so much. It's a portal into other dimensions of yourself that lies on the other side of that pain. So it's about not taking a trip to outer space, but your inner space, right? Your inner world, the universe inside of you, and the physical laws that have been governing you. So this is huge. This is a different kind of mastery of your relationship with matter, because you're mastering your mind and your emotions first and foremost, and seeing that you're not them. You're the quiet observer behind it. So feel it. Feel the wounds, feel through them, but then also observe them and retrieve the information behind it. Because it's telling you a lot about your past. And if you learn about your past, you can understand yourself in the present moment. Where have these stemmed from? How far back does that date to? So, is it previous lifetimes? Is it your ancestors, which are also you, Explore. So with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you guys right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. Love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. Also check out Water Spirit if you guys are looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. These are beautiful gemstones. I have the gratitude pack on today, so you have 2 discount codes for that. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Until next time, bye.